Hello, this is Krinstar, and I thought it was going to be cool to talk about grabbing samples or the sounds from a telephone, the old school 80s and 90s telephones that some of us had when we were younger. Um, yeah, that sound if it came through. I think basically these old phones that you push the button that comes a dial tone. Back in the days, they used tones for everything, and it's pretty cool. If you press the number one, a tone would come up, and you'd hear it on the thing, and then basically the combination of living in the U.S., a combination of was it 9 of these things? The area code plus a 3-digit prefix plus a 4-digit thing, and you dialed to somebody, right? No switch operators or anybody else. It was an amazing type of thing, and it you talked about people that lose their jobs. Bunches of operators lost their job. Apparently, my grandmother was one of them. I found out later in life. She was an operator all the way up until U.S. phone operator all the way up until she retired, somewhere in the 80s or something. At any rate. So the way that they got it done is they use these tones and stuff, and on the wiki it has a kind of a, I think this might be for US based phones. I do know that there's some standards that are different in different areas, and so or different regions or something like that. So basically take it with a grain of salt of what it sounds like. But on the wiki it has a description of what these are, and it's basically two sine waves. Something in the 1200 hertz range, and something in the cat's in the way. For the one, it would be 697 range. You would get a kind of that tone, and hopefully this will come across to the speaker. If not, you'll hear it later when I try to make it up. Because this should be really easy to replicate in Bitwig. Because all I have to do is have something at that range and something at that range, and I'm doing the tone for one. This is a dual tone modulation frequency, right? Yeah, multi-frequency signaling. DTMF. They've been DTMF tones as long as I've known what they were. And it just means that there's two tones that actually make it up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The asterisk, the 0, and the pound sign, for which phones are normally I'm used to. This A, B, and C stuff, I don't think I've ever seen a phone with them that I've ever used. It's always been the standard keypad. On your cell phones, it has that same keypad, and I think it still makes those sounds. So what you could do is hold your phone up, and if you dial one of these numbers and stuff like that, it should start dialing somebody's number for you because, again, it works off the tones and stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. And it's sort of geeky and stuff like that. And down here, they got what the actual wave looks like for the first one to one. So we're going to try to sort of replicate it in Bitwig. Okay, so now we're in Polygrid. I have two sine things here. And what we want to do is we want to remove key tracking. Badly, because I don't want the keyboard to influence I don't want the keyboard to influence the tone. And I'm getting that clicking. Okay, sorry for all the noises, but we're now going to focus on the tones. So we want a 697 hertz. So let's do the top one, then make that the low tone. $697. And we should have turned off key tracking, but it sounds like it's still on. Ah, there we go. All right. So we got that one, and then 1,209. All right, so these only go 27 hertz. So that means we're gonna have to crank out our oscillator and figure out what the hertz range is, because I figured that this would work here, but I guess not. This has a range of either positive or negative hertz. Give me a bit while I tone it, or do a whole bunch of stuff that sounds like noise. Okay. I got it. I got something. So what I did is I used the spectrum analyzer. I held the key down and then used its peak to define, see these hertz right there? To define the stuff until the things matched up. And that sounds pretty much like the... I can't check it against my phone because the cell phones don't have a dial tone when you go to dial the stuff anymore, because you just pop in the numbers and then hit it and then it dials out. So kind of useless for testing this one, but it sounds kind of similar. So realistically, you can record this, sample it, and then put them all together and then put them into a multi sampler thing, and then have all the numbers in there and be able to play with it with your keyboard. It's kind of cool, actually, if you think about it. But almost Morse code like, right? Overall, pretty cool. Or you can take in and you can probably use this, switch this using not the, well, yeah, you want to do some logic where you want to kind of use the merge, I guess, or the select in, and then have 4 of them or 9 of them going. Actually, I think you have to have 4 of them, and then you can have them all lined up. But I think just sampling will probably be easier for this. But at any rate, I think because of the work that's done, I'm going to end it here with just the one. But I would use the spectrum analyzer and then a couple of sine waves, and you can somewhat mimic it. It may not be perfect. I've also heard of when to help it, you probably want to do some saturation or some drive or something like that, and get it really cranking with a little bit of noise. Dial the taste. And then realistically, this comes from like a KLF song where they're like using the phone to somewhat dial in, because the guy is rapping over a cell phone or something from the 90s, the car phone looking things, which is really cool. But I think they used a couple of other dial tones in there. In that one. But at any rate, hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will catch you later.